Come on. Do I sound like I'm joking? Do I sound like I'm playing? When you look into my eyes, you understand what I'm saying? Let me say it to you slowly, and it may sound scandalous. I don't think that you can handle this.
All right, once again, we are on. I am the MoJoKing. He is the great Donnie Oooh, and we are Hidden Gems Football, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group, especially mighty this week. How you feeling today, Mr. Oooh?
Doing pretty good. What's going on, Mo?
Nothing. I have lack of sleep, and I can't figure out what's going on in my life. So, but, at least I have nothing to complain about because I can't remember anything going wrong.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
Hey, man, the struggle is real, but, at least my memory's gone, so I can't remember any of the problems. All right, before I get to the rundown of events, let me quickly thank all our listeners for watching, subscribing, liking, listening. For you guys that are listening to the audio, we are in audio and video, so you can listen and see us both. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend. If you like what we're doing, comment below. If you have a choice of a team that you like, comment below. We are actively responding to everything, and we appreciate all of it. We thrive, we survive, we make it because of you. So thank you. All right, now here's a quick breakdown of what you can expect on today's episode and every episode. Hidden Gems is broken down into 3 sections. In section 2, we will talk about the upcoming Thursday night game. We'll look at the matchup closely, see what angles we have, see if there are any keys to the game that we like, and maybe make a prediction or two. In section 3, we will be discussing Sunday's games and Monday, possibly. Survivor picks. Who are the absolute sure things cannot lose for the week? This week, it looks pretty defined there's about 5 or 6 games that are clearly the heads-on favorites, but we saw with Philadelphia, that's not always the way to go. And along those lines, Donnie will look for a long shot to break through when all the favorites fall on their face. But before all that, have to talk to Donnie and find out the one thing that has caught his attention this week. Donnie, what is your one thing?
This week, I got to go straight to so-called America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I have another name for the Dallas Cowboys, but we try to keep this family friendly on the Hidden Gems Football, which got show. So the Dallas Cowboys this past week caught my eye, if you will, based on their 31-28 loss against the Green Bay Packers this past Sunday. A Green Bay Packers team that was 3-6 going into this contest. A Green Bay Packers team that was teetering on the verge of perhaps anarchy based on the lack of cohesion between Aaron Rodgers and his young receiving core. I think we even talked about it last week on whether or not we felt that Green Bay was going to even garner enough offense to get this vaunted Dallas Cowboys defense. Green Bay pulled a rabbit out the hat. Aaron Rodgers pulled a rabbit out the hat. But I don't believe this is a game that Green Bay can hang their hat on and say, yeah, we're back in business. No, I believe Dallas lost that game. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be very blunt and be upfront with it. I'm usually not that accurate when it comes to numbers. I'm more of an emotion guy. I'm more of a vibe guy. But this is one stat. The Dallas Cowboys going into this past Sunday's game was 180-0 when leading by 14 points going into the fourth quarter. In the regular season, 15-0 in the postseason for a total of 195 when leading by 14 points going into the fourth quarter. Do you want to know why I'm even a tad bit upset? Because this affected my pocket. I'm looking at this game and I'm like, 28-14. Green Bay's been struggling. The only success they've gotten has been on the running game, but there's no way in hell that they're going to, be able to catch up against this vaunted Dallas defense. But that brings me to the actual topic, and I'm going to try to bottom line this real quick. Dak Prescott, to me, is very overrated. Once again, I'm going to look for numbers. 6 games this season, Cooper Rush, the backup quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, started. 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Dak Prescott has started 4 games. He missed 6 games due to injury. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Is there that much of a difference between your franchise quarterback and the also ran of Cooper Rush? Dallas is 6-3, right? I believe they have a better record with Cooper Rush behind center. When Cooper Rush is behind center, under center, they lean on their running game, they lean on their defense, they lean on field position, they lean on time possession, and they take their shots with CeeDee Lamb and the Titans shows. Now, when Dak is in the game, all of a sudden they want to open it up. They want to throw 50 times a game. Do you know Dallas with 3 and out 5 times? That means 5 drives, they didn't even get 10 yards. And yet they still had a 14-point lead. And if you fast forward to overtime, and there's controversy on whether or not Mike McCarthy, who over the last couple years as Dallas head coach has a lot of boneheaded decisions, but to me, going forward on 4th and 3 was not the boneheaded decision, because they felt like we have the ball, we have momentum, we're in Green Bay territory, we need to go for the jugular. The field goal is too much chance going there. We have Dak behind here. We should be able to get 3 yards. Dak couldn't even get off a pass. Like, yeah, he got a pass like falling to the ground. Dallas is overrated. Dak is overrated. I don't understand why Dallas is even America's team. And this is my last point. And yeah, there's going to be a little bit of Homer Jonesism when it comes to this point, but facts are facts. In the last 27 years, since Dallas has last won their Super Bowl, yeah, they won like 95. Dallas has won a total of 3. That's right. 1, 2, 3 playoff games in 27 years. Do you know my New York Jets in that same time span has won, I believe, 5? How come we're not America's team? How come in the state of New York, in the city, New York City, every darn week, I gotta either see Dallas on my tube, or Green Bay on my tube, or Tampa Bay on my tube, but especially Dallas. Why? Is it because misery loves company? Is it because I think they're more famous for losing than they are actually winning championships. I don't know. I just wanted to get that off. I needed to vent, because Dallas losing that lead, Dallas overrated. Yeah, that's my one thing.
All right. Well, as far as being America's team, I'm with you on that. In particular, the fact that they have to put them on TV so often. I don't need to see them all the time. One of the downsides of being in a market that has 2 teams is that you're almost forced to always see those 2 teams. You don't get a lot of options. But the NFL and the networks have opened it up more, so they're showing more more games outside the network, and that makes me pretty excited, pretty happy. The percentage of it being the Cowboys is ridiculous. I don't need to see them all the time. I'd rather see other teams in the nation. Let me get a good feel of what other people are doing. And why are they not showing Kansas City any? But all right, that's completely another subject. The one thing I did want to go against you on, counter a little bit, is your attack on Dak. It's kind of funny because Dak isn't exactly my boy, but I will say this: I don't think Dak is an elite quarterback, and I think anybody that has that argument, I'm going to argue against. But I think he's a solid quarterback. He's solid somewhere in that middle, maybe upper middle type level quarterback. But I think we get a little bit carried away because we're so used to seeing Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and even Aaron Rodgers. Those are top tier quarterbacks and they've won multiple Super Bowls. But let's not forget, Jimmy G is going to the Super Bowl. Jared Goff is going to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman and Marcel Hasselbeck have gone to the Super Bowl. Not only that, of course, we had Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. We've also had Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl, Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl, and Brad Johnson win a Super Bowl. I don't even remember who Brad Johnson is. So my point is that the Cowboys can win with Dak. They don't need to be on my TV all the time unless they make a playoff run, which I guess, according to you, doesn't look very likely. And my last point on this whole subject is I don't even feel like they lost that game because of Dak. What happened to the defense? As far as I remember, Green Bay is not good this year as far as their offense. They're not clicking. Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw to. But why did all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers become throwback Aaron Rodgers? I blame the Cowboy defense. All right. Anyway, let's get off that subject. Wait, do you have a counter real quick?
I'll push back slightly.
All right.
Yeah. Ultimately, it was on the defense because they gave up, pretty much they gave up 2 long passes to Christian Watson, of all people. But Dak did not keep the momentum on offense moving. He could not sustain a drive in the key points of that fourth quarter that would have kept the Dallas defense off the field. That's what I meant by complimentary football. If Dallas remained somewhat conservative instead of saying, well, Dak is our franchise quarterback, we need to put the game on rest on his shoulders, and they would have just ran the football, took shots here and there, you may have been able to, which God had consistently long drives to keep the Dallas defense off the field. I believe by that fourth quarter, Dallas defense was gassed. And I believe that played into why there was breakdowns in coverage and so forth.
All right, I can see it. All right, I can see it. All right, let's get to part 2. That's going to be the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game is the 6-3 Tennessee Titans going to Green Bay so we can watch the Packers again. The Packers are 4-6. The Packers are also 3.5-point favorites. The total is supposed to be, according to Vegas, 42.5 points. That would mean that Tennessee is going to score 19.5, while Green Bay is going to score 23. Key injuries. I will say that we are doing this podcast a little bit earlier than usual, so injuries are less reliable. Ryan Tannehill was limited because of his ankle injury that had him sitting out a couple weeks before that. I assume that's just a maintenance thing, and I'm pretty sure he'll end up playing Thursday. Aaron Rodgers has had all season, basically, his thumb injury. It looks like it's getting a little bit worse, but I'm sure he's going to play through it. The one injury that is significant, that is clearly definitely a problem, is Romeo Doubs. He has a high ankle sprain. He is out for Thursday, definitely. Of course, it doesn't matter because they have the wide receiver god, Christian Watson, back. So, FTW. What is your take on this game? Who do you think is going to win? Who has the edge? What you got?
Okay, there's two trains of thought you can go with this. I mean, like you can say Green Bay, fresh off that tantalizing victory over the America's team, Dallas Cowboys, is riding the momentum into a Thursday night matchup, and they're pretty much the walking wounded in their defense, even though they came up big in various points this past Sunday. They have to go against King Henry on 4 days rest. Now, I'm not sure how the weather's going to be Thursday because, like you said, we are recording this a tad bit earlier than normal. But I'm quite sure it's going to be cold. And if your body's real sore, you're not really going to be that eager to see King Henry coming down that tunnel. So if I have to make a pick, which, I got to make a pick, I guess I'm going to go Tennessee. I'm not really confident in that pick. I just don't believe that Green Bay's success is sustainable because they just still, no matter how well Christian Watson came on the scene this past week, do you really think that was his breakout game, or do you think that was just a combination of, just happenstance? So that's my long-winded way of saying I'm going with Tennessee. I trust Vrabel being able to have his team more prepared, and they're 6-3, and they've been more consistent throughout the season. So I'm going to lean on consistency. Tennessee.
All right. I think I'm mostly agreeing with you. I'm also going with Tennessee, at least as far as the points go, the 3.5. I think that Tennessee will at least play it close if they don't win. So, Green Bay could win by a field goal and still got your money covered. And with you, I'm mirroring some of your what you said. Green Bay's defense is actually 26th in the NFL versus the run. Facing Derrick Henry, he really should run over this team. I think he probably will run over this team. I think that the Titans and their coaching staff will keep handing him the ball so he can run over the team. Tennessee's just a solid team, and their coaching is really smart. They go with their strengths. I don't think that they're a spectacular team, although they're 6-3. I think that they're just really solid and play the game, their game, the best that they can. And up until this past fourth quarter, Green Bay hasn't shown that amount of skill. So I like Tennessee. I also like the under because I think they're just going to be running it, and I think they're going to be running it. And I don't think that Green Bay has the offense to counter it. Again, unless that fourth quarter is just going to show you what they can do. The one thing I will say, though, is that the Christian Watson thing, as much as I was joking about the hype of him, I think there might really be something to it. Because if you remember all the way back into game 1, Aaron Rodgers threw him a bomb that Christian Watson blew by everybody and he just dropped, right? And after the game, Aaron Rodgers was just like, hey, the young guys, we're just going to have to give them time. And I thought that was really telling that he saw upside there. And then Watson, when he has played, Rodgers has looked for him on big plays. It's just that Watson keeps getting hurt. If he's actually healthy the rest of this season, I think he is going to turn into Aaron Rodgers' go-to guy other than Lazard. But Lazard is limited. I think Watson has more explosion. So you have the explosive guy on that side. You have the reliable guy on Lazard. It's possible that this is starting Green Bay's trend towards being solid offensively. With that said, I'm not putting my money behind Watson. I don't know that that's true. I'm just saying it's a possible theory. So I'm going with the Titans, and I'm going with the under.
Yeah, definitely the under. This is not going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Both score plus 30.
Hey, man, the Watson might really be, the wide receiver's god. Ugh.
Recognize his face, acknowledging greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
If I get this up, what I do with the stress. Without an outlet to vent, proclaim I'm the best. In the world of what the you remember the rest. I gotta keep all shit pent up in my chest. I guess that's probably where I keep it. Spare the whole world. No longer teaching, no longer reaching for perceived perfection. Need more consistency for prolonged erections. I finally found direction. Discover what I'm best at. Shooting at every perceived light. Yeah, clap back or clap first. Foot on the pedal, grease the bass. I'ma exit now. I'm the recognized in place. Recognize this face. Acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless. Recognize this face, acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
Recognize this face, acknowledge my greatness. On a different level, it's the face of the faceless.
All right, let's move to section 3. Donnie, before we get into the games, I just want to recap last week a little bit. I'm in 2 Survivor Leagues. One of them lost about 30% of entries last week, mostly due, not surprisingly, to Philadelphia. Philadelphia was about half of that 30. The Raiders were also a good percentage. In the other league, it was about 20 to 25%, somewhere around there. And it was basically the same thing, except more people had already picked Philadelphia, so they couldn't pick them this past week. So they got off kind of lucky. And again, the Raiders were the second highest that helped eliminate teams. Interestingly enough, I did pick the Raiders on one of my squads, but I actually I took the Raiders when I was going to take the Eagles, so I guess I was going to be out either way with that team. Let's move into this week. Hopefully, we will do a little bit better here, or I will do a little bit better here. First game up is the 3-7 Carolina Panthers going to the 6-3 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are 10.5-point favorites. PJ Walker's out with a high ankle sprain. Baker Mayfield has another life. What do you think about this game?
Oh, that spread is very tantalizing for yours truly. But we're going survivor picks, win or lose. That's it. So Carolina is still playing scrappy. Much to my dismay, because last week I picked against Carolina, trying to be, trying to be partial to my brother down in the ATL. But I think there was a whole bunch of reasons why Carolina won last week. But regardless, they won. They're remaining competitive. Baltimore, on the other hand, they're just chugging along. They're 6-3. Their defense has gotten better due to an acquisition at the trade deadline. I don't really like this game because I don't like neither team. I guess I'll go Baltimore just off name value, but it wouldn't surprise me if Carolina. Matter of fact, I'll preface it like this: my pick is going to be Baltimore for survivor picks, but me personally, I might put some coin down on the spread.
I have 2 questions. One, you would not pick them really for a survivor. You would look elsewhere. And 2, if you were going for point spread, you would actually pick Carolina.
Yeah, which go against the spread. I being the fact Carolina is still being more competitive than I thought that they would be, because I think last week I was like, yeah, they're probably about to pack up the tents. They realize, it's a lost cause, and then they messed around and beat Atlanta. Atlanta's not a world beater, but still went against my philosophy. So being the fact that they're still fighting, I feel like Baltimore's not going to blow them out. So for the spread, I would go Carolina. Survivor pool, I probably would stay away. Well, survivor pool, I would go, if I had to pick this game, I would go Baltimore.
But you would stay away you'd look for another game?
Yeah, I would stay away because I don't like neither team.
Okay. I'm a little bit ahead as far as knowing what the other games I'm about to list are. I don't necessarily really love a lot of these games. I think I will be going with Baltimore, and for a couple of reasons. One, I think Baltimore is a pretty solid team, and as scrappy as the Panthers are, they've been that scrappy with PJ Walker. They were not that scrappy when Baker was playing, and it's kind of weird because I wouldn't think that Baker is a worse quarterback. I just don't know. There was not a connection. Maybe they're figuring it out. Maybe it won't matter with the change in center. I know Baker had a pretty good comeback when he got whatever. He was decent when he came in for PJ Walker a couple weeks back. I just think Baltimore outclassed them. And probably the bigger issue for me is, like I said, I'm looking ahead. A lot of the games I'm about to mention, the favorite is the road team. I like the home team in a big game. So I'm probably going to lean with Baltimore. All right. Next game, as I said, a lot of road teams are favorites. The 5-4 San Francisco 49ers are traveling to Arizona to play the Cardinals. The 49ers are 8-point favorites. Kyler Murray is questionable. There's a very good chance that Colt McCoy will be back under center again for Arizona. What do you think about this game?
This another tough game. I could see a way Arizona could win. Matter of fact, I'll put it this way. I could see Arizona winning more with Colt McCoy as the quarterback in this game than Kyler Murray. Reason being, yes, Kyler Murray is a dynamic player, but a lot of his success comes off broken plays, comes off muddying it up, making it like a backyard game. Colt McCoy will run the offense as designed. And with the weapons that they do have on the outside, I could see them being able to put up the requisite points. Like San Francisco, to me, like they struggled against the Chargers last week. Yeah, they won, but they had to do it in come from behind fashion, and they were a big favorite in that game also. So once again, when you have Jimmy G as your quarterback, nothing is a given. He can easily win you a game. He can easily throw away a game. So I would probably stay away from this game also. But against the spread, I would go Arizona. Straight up, I think San Francisco probably would squeak it out.
All right. I think I don't know about the Colt McCoy, Kyler Murray thing. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. But everything else, I pretty much agree with you. I think that there's a good chance that Arizona plays them tight. I would expect the 49ers to win. I don't want to pick them as Survivor, though. Not on the road. Nah.
On the road, Monday night. Yeah, I don't know. That just seems like a tough spot.
Right. It's a no-go for me, too. All right. The third biggest spread that we have for the week is the 3-6 Cleveland Browns going to Buffalo to play the 6-3 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is an 8-point favorite. Let me just say, Josh Allen played like a dumbass last week, and that was not a classic game when the star is playing like a dumbass. I'm sorry. Okay, now, what do you think about this game?
The Browns have a lot of talent. It's just like the ongoing narrative. Matter of fact, not even a narrative. The ongoing theme year after year after year with this collection of talent is they underachieve. Before at least they could blame it on Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is no longer there. And now I guess they're going to blame it on, well, we didn't have Deshaun Watson, but y'all went into the season knowing y'all wasn't going to have Deshaun Watson. It's not an excuse. They're 3-6. They could very easily be at least 5-4. They could probably be 6-3. They could probably have the inverted record. It's a stench over that franchise. But speaking of stench, I would have to talk about my Bills Mafia people and the stench that's coming out of Orchard Park the last couple weeks due to the erratic play of Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen has thrown it. Matter of fact, this is how I'm going to preface it. Josh Allen has thrown at least one interception the last 3 weeks. See, that way I can't be wrong.
Definitely got stats right?
So, but yeah. And the amount of workload that's placed on Josh Allen, I believe, is starting to wear on him mentally, and that's why he's making these mistakes. He's being told to be and stay aggressive, but with the aggressiveness, he's not picking his spots on when to be aggressive. He's just on go mode the whole time. Against my better judgment, I guess I would go Bills because they're at home, and I just don't trust. I don't trust Cleveland. So survivor wise, I would go Bills, and against the spread, I probably wouldn't touch this because I don't trust Cleveland. I don't trust them with my coin.
Okay, you were leaning Cleveland against the spread, but you don't.
Yeah,
trust
I would abstain.
All right. So my take on this is real quick is that did I mention Josh Allen played really bad last week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is prone to do knucklehead things like that. His whole early career was him doing stuff like that. It was shocking to see him come back and do that again so badly, like look like his rookie year almost. With that said, I still think he's a phenomenal talent. I still think Buffalo is very talented. I think they're still one of the best teams in the league. I agree with you about Cleveland being super talented too. But Brissett is a solid backup, but he limits them. And as long as Josh Allen doesn't just do the knucklehead things again, and it's very possible he does, I just think that Buffalo is a way better team. So I'm actually going to definitely lean on Buffalo in some of my survivor picks. And honestly, if I was going against the spread, I think I would see if it gets a little bit lower, but then I think I would go with Buffalo because I really do think that they're going to bounce back from it. And the one thing about Buffalo, if they get up, they will keep putting the pressure on. So like the point spread doesn't really bother me. I think I like Buffalo this game. Of course, maybe I just have a thing for knuckleheads. I don't know. Anyway, all right. The next three games that we're going to look at, Donnie, we're going to go through them real quick. You pick the one that you would want to focus on. All right. Okay. We have the 7-2 Kansas City Chiefs at the 5-4 Los Angeles Chargers. The Chiefs are 7-point favorites. The 8-1 Philadelphia Eagles are going to Indianapolis to face the 4-5-1 Indianapolis Colts. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. And we have the 5-4 Cincinnati Bengals going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, who are 3-6. The Bengals are 5-point favorites. Does one or any of these games strike your attention?
The Chiefs and Chargers, but the Chiefs are on the road with that number. And they always play close games, no matter who is on the field. Now, like we discussed earlier, I don't really know the injury situation when it comes to the Chargers, whether or not they're going to get at least Keenan Allen back. Because I think it was a thought that they would probably get Allen back before they got Williams back. So if they get Allen back, that would kind of make me lean toward the Chargers because they're at home and they need the game more. And they, like I said, they always play them tough. But if they don't have Allen, I just don't think they'll have enough firepower. So I guess in that game, survivor-wise, I would go with the Chiefs. Against the spread, I would lean toward the Chargers. But as for the other one, matter of fact, the other one that caught my eye, and maybe this is recency bias, is the Colts and the Eagles. Not so much being the fact that the Eagles lost this past week, it's just how well the Colts played and seemed like they were galvanized under new interim head coach Jeff Saturday. I believe he's going to be able to maximize the talent that they do have in that team. So I can truthfully say I can see Philly kind of reeling a little bit, trying to figure out what went wrong, combined with an energized Colts team at home off a road victory. I could see the Colts doing having an upset, So I would lean Colts, survivor wise. That would be my hit. Matter of fact, that would be my pick of the week. Colts over the Eagles.
All right. You know what? We're going to be on dead opposite categories here because Now granted, I picked the Raiders last week and the Colts beat them. So I may be sounding a little salty here. But they beat the Raiders. I'm not that impressed. The Eagles lost. The Eagles got whooped by the Redskins. The Redskins looked better most of that game. But I expect the Eagles to bounce back. But honestly, if I was going to look at these 3 games, that Bengals-Steelers game is the one that interests me the most. I'm going to actually look at a little bit of the Steelers game again to see what's going on there as far as their win last week. But generally speaking, I still would rather go pick a team against the Steelers every week. And I don't think that win last week really is going to change it for me, especially when the Bengals have been looking a little bit better as the season's going on. That's the one game I probably would focus on if I was going to pick a survivor out of there. So I might lean Bengals, but most likely I'm going to stick with the teams up top, which are the Ravens and the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a game I would probably just stay away from because it's an interdivision game. The Steelers are playing, Tomlin's going to, except for that Buffalo game where they just got waxed, they really haven't got blown out in none of the games. And, they've been scrappy. So that one would scare me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because I think Tomlin's an amazing coach and he keeps them playing well and their defense is pretty solid. I just think the Bengals have a better shot at it. All right. We have reached the end of the show. Of course, we have a couple of things to do an outro. The one thing I want to do before I kick it to you, Donnie, is that I want to give a shout out to my brothers from the NBA Baseline on 19 Media Group. Got the hookup with Cal Gameface Lee and Lawrence Shaw, my brothers. It was a pleasure to see him. Went to a Knicks game. The Knicks got waxed by OKC. Josh Giddey triple-doubled on them. But my son got to go to his first game with me and some of his favorite uncles. So now I kick it to you, Donnie. What you got for us on the outro?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet this week. There's no new episode of my podcast, the Sorty Thoughts and Donnie Oooh podcast this week. But you can check out past episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor.fm. And
Good pods.
Good pods. Definitely. I don't know why I always forget good pods. They're so good to me. But anyway, with all that being said and done, Hidden Gems Football. It's a part of the 19 Media Group. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, guys. Get Donnie's album.
This is a 19 Media Group presentation.
I think Frank Reich was trying to buy himself some time by playing editor or whatever the hell his name is, because he figured like, well, if I put this guy in the game, then that'll buy me the rest of the season, because under the gaze of trying to develop him. and I think Jim Irsay after that first game, Jim Irsay was like, oh, he thinks I'm stupid.